Welcome back. All right, so first off, I have not made a playlist for this yet. I will. I absolutely will. You have my word. This week's been kind of busy. I'm trying to pre-record videos and get far enough ahead on my videos for the hockey channel that I won't have to worry too much about posting hockey videos while I'm in Europe next week. That being said, I'm not as worried about this channel and pre-recording because we'll be recording and uploading videos to this channel while we're in Europe, so that's going to be fun. But there won't be a song list entry during my time in Europe. So just throwing that out there, I'm not going to be spending 40 minutes talking about songs when I'm over in Europe. But number 1400, as we pick up where we left off, Type O Negative. So this one doesn't have an overly long title to it. It's I Like Goyles, and it's a song that was written after the lead singer of Type O Negative. He posted for Playgirl, which is, of course, an adult magazine, but he did not realize at the time that he posed for it that it was mainly read, I should say, by men. And so I Like Goyles was his answer, which basically was a 2.5 to 3 minute song of I'm not gay. And I found it funny. I thought it was entertaining. But yeah, so that's the first Type O Negative song that's on the board. Let's move on to 1399. Hey, at least these aren't long titles to start off. Megahertz. Another German band. Wer bist du? Wer bist du, good song. Megahertz had some very good songs, and I think they're still around. They've obviously never toured around North America that I've seen anyways. They're one of those German bands that I'm like, please, please, and then they don't. So, Wer bist du, Megahertz, good song. There will be other songs from Megahertz on this countdown as well. 1398, Eurythmics. So Eurythmics, you're going to see them on the list at least a few more times. But Missionary Man by Eurythmics comes in at 1398. It is crazy to me, too, how long this song list is. But the reason I did 1400 is because 25 years ago I was doing song lists that were 1,000 songs long. And I thought, hey, in 25 years I have to have picked up at least 400 songs that I like, right? And it turns out it was 450. So there you go. And there are songs that would have been on my list back then that didn't make it. Missionary Man would have been on the list back then and did make it. 1397. Kingdom Come. So Kingdom Come was an interesting band that came along and people pointed out, you know, you guys sound a lot like Zeppelin. And the way they handled it wasn't necessarily great. Do You Like It by Kingdom Come is a fun song. It is up-tempo, and it was from their second album, which notably sounded a lot less like Zeppelin than their first album. I had the first album, and I loved it until a friend of mine in school introduced me to Led Zeppelin, and then I started listening to the Zeppelin CDs and tapes and going, this sounds a lot like Kingdom Come, meaning Kingdom Come ripped off a lot of these songs. But still, Do You Like It is a fun song, and there's one other song of theirs that's on this list as well. 1396. I know these won't play well together, and it is one thing that I realized when I was putting this list together. If I do make a playlist, it is going to be the most random sounding playlist you've ever heard. Ponder Replay by Rihanna was Rihanna's first hit song. Rihanna always had a lot of presence. She has talent. And she's different. One thing that to me makes a lot of the vocalists that are on this list stand out is that they're different. And Rihanna definitely had a different look. She had a different feel to her music. And Ponder Replay was kind of a fun song. So it's 1396. 1395. Ludacris on the board again. And it's Get Back. It's a fun song. It gets stuck in your head. I apologize to people it's going to get stuck in your head. But there's other songs on this list that might get stuck in your head too. So don't you worry. It might have a friend soon. Get Back by Ludacris. at the height of his fame. I didn't like the video very much, though. I thought the video was kind of goofy, but fun song, sure. 1395 on the list. 1394. I couldn't put this one higher, even though it's a song that features two of my favorite female vocalists right now. Guess by Charlie XCX and Billie Eilish. So when I saw they were on a song together, I was thinking, that's different. I didn't know those two were going to work together, and it's a fun song. So it's not higher up on the list than that, but Charlie XCX, you will see her again on this list. And Billie Eilish, she's going to show up on this list a few times as well. So 1394 is for the song Guess, which is, as I said, kind of a fun one. 1393. Why don't we throw in some Aerosmith while we're at it? Lovin' an Elevator, which is a silly tune. The video's fun. It's a fun song. Living it up while I'm going down. I get it. At the time it came out, I kind of got it. And so it's a fun tune. Aerosmith has a lot of them. It's not one of my favorites from them, but I like it enough that it gets onto the list at 1393. It doesn't bother me. It's not one that I go out of my way to look for. But if it's on the radio, I'm not going to change the channel based on the fact that it's a good song. I don't mind listening to it. In 1393. 1392. So Republica is known for Ready to Go, which is a good song. It is higher on the list than this entry, but I would not qualify Republica as a one-hit wonder. I had their album, and honestly, it wasn't bad. Drop Dead Gorgeous is a good song. I think it was used in the movie Scream. I think is where Drop Dead Gorgeous shows up. It's in the background of one of the scenes. That's a good song. And Republica had some good songs on that album. I did listen to it on the regular. I was getting into dance music a bit in the late 90s, mid to late 90s. And that's the thing. When I'm listening to music, it depends on my mood. There are times where I feel like I need something a little light, something that's fun, and usually it'll be a pop song, and usually it'll be sung by somebody like Madonna or Samantha Fox or, now Billie Eilish, Dua Lipa, because I want to listen to something fun, and Republica had that in spades. 1391. Alan Parsons. So that's how all over the place this is. And it's not the Alan Parsons Project, it's just Alan Parsons. I always thought that was weird. I was like, wait, did he go solo from his own band? But the Alan Parsons album with Turn It Up on it, I was going through a tough time in my life, and there were certain albums that helped me out. Supertramp's Breakfast in America was an album that, man, when I was having a hard time, or the Even in the Quietest Moments album as well. But later on, Alan Parsons came out with the album that has Turn It Up on it, and I would just listen to that. It was uplifting, almost borderline contemporary Christian. It was very close to contemporary Christian in how it sounded, so if you look up Turn It Up by Alan Parsons, it does kind of have that almost Michael W. Smith feel to it. 1390. Julian Lennon. The mid-80s, Julian Lennon came out. Too Late for Late? No, that's not it. That's not it at all. And Julian Lennon had Velotte. Now, Velotte did not make the list. Velotte, if you want to hear Julian Lennon sounding just like his dad, John Lennon, Velotte's the one. But Too Late for Goodbyes is a good bop. It's a good bop. It's from the 80s. And it's 1390 on the board. There's a lot of 80s in here. I felt a little bit better about it in that I do hear like people like 80s music more than 90s. I thought 90s got overly produced, and it lost some of the personality that some of the 80s music had. 1389, another 80s song. The one thing that always threw me off on this one is it's spelled wrong. Telephone by Shinny Easton. Before Strut took over the airwaves, and after For Your Eyes Only, which is not on the list. Probably her biggest hit, but I was never a big fan of For Your Eyes Only. I love Sheena Easton's voice, though, and I love her presence. And Telephone was a good example of that presence in video form and on the song itself. All right, just had to pause until the ice cream truck finished going by. Telephone by Sheena Easton. But yeah, so and I'm lactose intolerant before anybody says anything. 1388. So this is a more recent song. There are bands I suddenly just decide I think I want to listen to a bunch of their songs. And I went through that recently with Sleigh Bells, and I discovered Bunky Pop, and some other songs as well. Sleigh Bells, I would go and see them in concert anytime. A lot of energy in their songs, fun songs, simple songs, but sometimes simple songs are best. We'll see that as we get through the countdown. You guys will see I like heavy percussion, especially. There's a lot of percussion. I like it. It's part of the reason why some of the music that we're seeing now, which is like European folk, and it's got a lot of percussion to it, and it's in various languages. I'm fascinated by it. I think it's great. But Sleigh Bells, I've gone down that rabbit hole a couple of times. I really enjoy their music. Bunky Pop, number 1388. 1387. So this one might surprise people that it's on the list. Kesha, Blow. It's a good dance song. It's Kesha's on the list a few times because she's got some good dance songs. I'm not a big fan of her new stuff. Her new stuff is it's a bit out there. I think the tough thing, it has to be really tough for pop stars as they get older and they're trying to get back into the spotlight. That has to be a very difficult time for them. And so Kesha, certainly you can tell that her music has changed a bit. I did enjoy the song Blow, which is not about no. And I'm not saying anything's going to get me demonetized, but it's no. It's not that. So, number 1387. 1386. This is the most awkward transition that I've done so far. Going from Kesha to Bruce Springsteen. Cover Me. Cover Me does not have a video. Is one of those rare songs from the mid-'80s that did not have a video to it. But it didn't need it. It was a hit song on its own. I think it went top 10 in the US and Canada. And it's a fun tune. It's the second song on that album. I think it was Born in the USA and then Cover Me and then Dancing in the Dark. I don't know. My mom had Born in the USA. She listened to it a lot. So I became acquainted with the songs on the album. But it is a great album. Born in the USA is a great album. So 1386 is Cover Me by Bruce Springsteen. 1385. More 80s. So Midnight Oil is known for Beds Are Burning. Beds Are Burning did not make the list. The Dead Heart did. The Dead Heart is on the list. Beds Are Burning I kind of got tired of. I enjoyed it perfectly fine when it first came out. But after that 686th time they played it that day, you kind of got tired of it. And The Dead Heart I thought was a better song. I just did. There are certain times that a song may not be as big a hit for an artist as a different one. Doesn't mean it's not as good of a song. And in my eyes, The Dead Heart was a fun one. All right, 1384. Scandal. So one of my biggest crushes growing up, and she's still singing, Patti Smythe. Not Patti Smith. Those are two different singers. Patti Smythe, Less Than Half, when she was singing with Scandal. I think it's funny, too, because now I always see Scandal featuring Patti Smythe. They were just Scandal. When that album came out, I had that album. It was great. Less Than Half is a fun song. And then it became featuring Patti Smythe because she became a big star. Everybody realized she had a fantastic voice, very unique. And eventually she went solo. You're going to see one of her solo hits on this countdown. I think it's just the one. Might be two. Might actually be two Patti Smythe songs on this list. But Scandal's on this list a few times too. I was a big fan of hers, and she was one of the first singers I had a crush on. I mean, after Warrior, how could I not? I mean, let's see, how old was I when Warrior came out? Like 11? I thought it was kind of badass. So there it was. But yeah, 1384, Less Than Half, which is from the same album as The Warrior. 1383. Wasp. So Wasp, which I mentioned in the last video, their name could stand for a couple of things. Doesn't matter. I Want to Be Somebody. Their biggest hit. Very repetitive. Absolutely, it's a repetitive song. It gets stuck in your head. I will apologize for that being stuck in your head if you listen to Wasp in the 80s. But it qualifies as a song that I think should be on the chart. There are songs that I like talking about. This is one of them. The video is kind of goofy, and yeah, it's a fun song. So, I Want to Be Somebody by Wasp. Number 1382. This is a rough one, too. Now, if you play Grand Theft... No. Don't mix up the band name with the song name. Don't do that. Almost right. Wrote Pure Saints. Pure Shore. Dear God. I need a vacation. Pure Shores by All Saints. So if you play Grand Theft Auto 5, you've heard this. Well, if you listen to the pop channel, you've heard this. And I do prefer to listen to the pop channel because Cara Delevingne might be the best of the DJs on there. And that would include Kenny Loggins. So that might be fighting words for people. Although Laszlo, right? Laszlo apparently is not in the next game, but Laszlo... but anyways, yeah, Pure Saints. There you go. Pure Saints is the song name now. Pure Shores by All Saints. It's a good song. It's a good song. All Saints. What's not to like? Girl groups. They're going to be on the chart. Absolutely. Cat's Eye is not, but we did watch the documentary on the formation of Cat's Eye on Netflix last year. My wife and I watched that last year. So number 1381. Howard Jones. There were artists back in the 80s who were very smart. Like Thomas Dolby kind of thing. Howard Jones was kind of in that category in my eyes as well. I don't know. Geez. OMD. There's a few that would just and The Cure. They just came off as being smart. Howard Jones was one of them. No One Is to Blame is a song I heard on the radio a lot in the mid 80s, and it takes this guy back. And there is something to be said for songs that take you back and you remember kind of a simpler time. And I seem to remember hearing it a lot during the summer when I would be writing books during the summer or whatever I was doing during the summer. Howard Jones would be on the radio. So he will be on this chart more than once. I think twice. 1380. So we continue to move our way up. And it's the other Tragically Hip song. Courage by the Tragically Hip. It's a fun song. I know, I keep saying it, but it's true. It doesn't make it less true that I keep saying it. Courage was one of their first hits, one of the first that introduced me to them, and I liked it perfectly fine. The issue I had with Courage is an issue that I think a lot of the Canadian artists will end up having. They get overplayed. So in Canada, there is a certain percentage that you have to have of Canadian content. And so when I would listen to the radio growing up, I would have good song, and then all of a sudden something is and I would think that has to be Canadian content. And sure enough, very often it was true. And I ended up resenting some of the Canadian stuff that was pushed. And at times I felt like the Tragically Hip had that as Canadian content. But I understand now there were some that definitely were in that Canadian content category that they're kind of forgotten now. But the Tragically Hip was legitimately an excellent band. A lot of people loved them. And good legacy left by the Tragically Hip. 1379. Alice Cooper. So, Lost in America has some really goofy lyrics to it. And yet, it's entertaining. I know the first time I listened to it, I had a little chuckle. Alice Cooper does have a funny side to him. I don't think that... I think the people that took Alice Cooper's act so seriously in the 70s, I think all those takes have aged really, really poorly. He likes to go out golfing, and he's just a very chill guy. And his name's not even Alice Cooper. He goes by that now, but that's not his name. So... it's like he was Marilyn Manson before Marilyn. The difference being Alice Cooper is still a great guy, and Marilyn, not so much. 1378. Amanda Marshall. So, if you're on the U.S. side of the border, you may not have heard this song. This is one of those ones that... Okay, so Amanda Marshall, my wife doesn't really listen to with me because she feels it's too close to country. I feel that it's Amanda Marshall, so it's okay. Fall from Grace does have a country feel to it, but her voice is fantastic. Amanda Marshall, her voice, absolutely electric. I was sad when she came to Vancouver that I was not able to go and see her, but I did not end up going to see her. I'm hoping she'll come back, and it'll be at a time where it's more convenient for me to go and see her live. Because I've seen her recent performances. She is still a very good singer. And her songs, that album, really that whole album that had started with Let It Rain, that whole album was great. And that's one, too, that came along at a time in my life when I needed it. Music can be very therapeutic. 1377, Fatboy Slim. This is a longer title, so I'm going to apologize now. But Fatboy Slim. Rockefeller Skank. Rockefeller Skank is, check it out now. Funk Soul Brother right about now. Funk Soul Brother, check it out now. Funk Soul, like it's just, and that's it. But it works. Sometimes the lyrics are like another instrument. Daft Punk really perfected that. Where the lyrics are just, it's another instrument. It's like a guitar riff, basically. Around the World by Daft Punk is the ultimate example of that, where the lyrics are just another instrument. They're another layer in the song. And Rockefeller Skank, Fatboy Slim, he was doing that as well. So it does make for a little bit of different kind of music. I don't have any Moby songs on the album, but Moby sometimes had that going on for him as well. 1376. All right, Jay Giles Band is on the board. Man, I used to hear this on the radio all the time. Freeze Frame. And a friend of mine in school had a Jay Giles Band album, and they're not bad. In terms of albums, and that's the thing, is that I don't think that kids these days can grasp just how much it was a guessing game when you'd buy an album back in the 80s. You might buy an album, and you've heard 2 songs from this band, and they're great. And then you get the album, and you go, these 2 songs are great. The rest of this album is what? And I never had that problem with Jay Giles, the albums that I heard of theirs. So, good stuff. 1375. Nightwish. I hope this fits. That's not the name of the song. That's what she said. Sorry, I had to, because somebody's going to say it in the comments. Somebody's probably said it out loud. And they're like, can you hear me? Yes. Yes, I can. Phantom of the Opera by Nightwish. It's a cover, but it's a good cover. Tarja is a fantastic singer. And Nightwish, very good band. I'd love to see them live. I just haven't had the opportunity. If they ever come to Vancouver, that's one that I will skip a really busy night if I have to. 1374. Back to the 80s. Steve Miller Band, Abracadabra. When I was a little kid, I sung that one a lot. Abracadabra, fun song. Why not? The title just makes it work. And so little kids, that was a song that we all really enjoyed because it was called Abracadabra. That's why now that there's a song of that name from Lady Gaga and it's a hit, I'm going, well, of course, it's called Abracadabra. 1373, Power Station, which was the introduction for those of us that did not necessarily know who Robert Palmer was, but Power Station told us, and off they went. Some Like It Hot. Now, their other hit song is on the chart, which was a cover. I don't believe Some Like It Hot was a cover. Power Station was a mix. I know there were members of Duran Duran. Oh, I'm trying to remember now, because I think both John and Andy Taylor were in the group, and then you had Robert Palmer as well, and it was good music. But that's mid-'80s. The video for Some Like It Hot, it's weird, but it's animated in parts, and it's not too shabby. 1372, Guns N' Roses. So this is where it proves that my taste in music is different from my wife. We do not share 100% of the taste in music. Estranged by Guns N' Roses is a very underrated song. I thought it didn't get as much attention as it could because of songs like November Rain. So Estranged gets on the board at 1372, and November Rain's higher up because it is a better song, but Estranged is a good song just on its own. 1371. Van Halen. This is during the Sammy Hagar era. So I'm gonna throw out like a bomb here. I preferred when it was Sammy Hagar. I did. I did not like David Lee Roth. I thought he was too loud. I thought he was too cocky. They brought in Sammy Hagar, and the music changed. Finish What You Started is a good song. It's got some good guitar work on it. It's very different. Van Halen was very different with Sammy Hagar as the lead singer, and I liked the music a lot better. Eventually, of course, that changed, but yeah, I did. I enjoyed Van Hagar, as it was called in Joe Dirt, the movie. 1370. Giant. Oh, man. So this is obviously from the 80s as well. Hold Back the Night by Giant. Dan Huff, who was the lead singer of Giant, worked on other albums that I liked as well. Giant was great, and Hold Back the Night, I found myself listening to this one way too much. The album from Giant was Last of the Runaways. I think I memorized every song on that album. I played it a lot. I used to play Metroid a lot on the Nintendo when I was a kid, and there were certain albums I would play for while I was playing Metroid because I'd get frustrated if I could hear the music and hear the alarms and everything. And I found if I turned off the music or turned the sound off of my TV and played music, I found I played better. So between Tesla and Giant, those were the bands I listened to while I played Metroid. 1369, and I would highly recommend that. If you're frustrated with a game, turn the sound off and put some music on and relax. We've got another song from Bruce Springsteen, and also from the same album. Glory Days. Glory Days tells a good story. One thing I do like with a song is when it tells a story and you can picture it in your mind. And with Glory Days, I can picture it, especially when he's talking about, I could get that speedball or fastball by you, making love like a fool, or what, make him look like a fool. Yeah, Glory Days. While my recollection of lyrics is a little shaky, the story that it told, the picture it gave of this person who was probably over the hill, but still enjoying life, and, looking around at other people who were, superstars in high school and where they were at now, I thought it was a good story. I did, even as somebody who was in high school at the time. Number 1368. As my phone decides it's going to just shut the screen off. All right, The Police. I almost never hear this song from The Police when I'm listening to 80s radio. And I do listen to 80s radio. Synchronicity 2 from the album Synchronicity. Synchronicity 2 is a good song. I'm surprised I haven't heard a cover for this. I think you could do a really good cover of Synchronicity 2 because it's a song people don't remember from The Police nearly as well as they remember other songs. And I think it's not given enough attention for what it was. And I really think you could do... I wouldn't mind seeing, like, Ghost do a cover of Synchronicity, too. There are certain bands I'd love to see do covers. Ghost is one of them that I very often think they should do a cover of. And you will probably hear that again during this playlist. 1367. Elton John. So Elton John came out with Sad Songs, They Say So Much, which was kind of ruined when it was used by Sasson. So it becomes Sasson Says So Much. It just kind of ruined the song a little bit because then you heard it all the time in commercials. You know how that works. But Sad Songs by Elton John it's a catchy song. It was a top 10 hit right around the time when I started listening to music all the time. I would watch Good Rockin' Tonight starring Terry David Mulligan. And I remember Sad Songs being on the top 10 one of the first weeks I started watching Good Rockin' Tonight. So This is way back, and that's very Canadian. That reference will only be understood by Canadians who are going, yeah, TDM. I love TDM. There you go. 1366. Rick Springfield. Hey, we've got a lot of 80s songs. Why would I stop now? Rick Springfield, Jesse's Girl. I do think that Jesse's Girl is a good song. I have it ranked below every other Rick Springfield song that was a hit, though, mostly. It's okay. And it's still above all the other songs, and I've mentioned bands that aren't even on the countdown, so I think the 1450, these are songs I genuinely like. Jesse's Girl was one that, it was alright. It was okay. I think I had an Alvin and the Chipmunks version of it, too. I had the Alvin and the Chipmunks album, which had that. Leader of the Pack was on that, too. Alvin and the Chipmunks is not on the countdown. Let me assure you, there is no Alvin and the Chipmunks on this countdown. 1365. Okay. So, Bloodhound Gang. I don't know if I can make this fit. I'm going to try. See, now I got Michael Scott stuck there right next to me going, that's what she said. Foxtrot, Uniform, Charlie, Kilo. The less you think about it, the better. Bloodhound Gang. And the video for that it's disturbing. It's entertaining and it's funny. Bloodhound Gang were quite the group. Quite the group. And it's one, too, that when my wife and I were talking before we met, that we talked about, because I thought they were good. She thought they were good. There are certain bands that we cross on where we're like, hey, I don't know how many people I know that listen to that band, but Bloodhound Gang, just the title means stuff. Anyhow, 1364. Destiny's Child, because sure, why not? This is not 80s, though. This is early 2000s. I'm going to say this again. I don't know if I said this earlier, but I'm going to say it again. I know Beyonce was the breakout for Destiny's Child. I was a Kelly fan. I thought Kelly was the most talented of the three. And Lose My Breath, great song. Very, very fun song from Destiny's Child, who honestly had some real bangers in the early 2000s. Very danceable, very memorable. Lose My Breath being one of those songs. 1363. Yeah, I don't have much to add to that. REM. Yvonne's one of her favorite groups is REM. If she was doing a list like this, which she never would do, she doesn't do lists like I do. The One I Love would be much higher than 1363. The One I Love goes at 1363 on my list, and so REM is at that point on the countdown. 1362. Duran Duran. Yep, Duran Duran. There's going to be some Duran Duran on this list. Not Save a Prayer, though. My gosh, Save a Prayer was so overplayed. I'm still tired of Save a Prayer. Union of the Snake, though, that was underplayed. I thought Union of the Snake was a fun one. I thought it was underrated on their album. Didn't get as much notice as a lot of their other songs. And I thought it was a little bit grittier than some of their other songs, too. One thing about music in the 80s that I liked, and I when I'm listening to music now, there were varying topics of songs. They weren't all about fooling around or drinking or... I mean, there's other things people sing about now, right? I guess. All right, 1361. Stryper. Oh, you know I listen to Stryper. Come on. There's already been hair metal. Why wouldn't I have been listening to Stryper? Especially when I started going to church. Because I still wanted to listen to metal, but it had to be Christian metal. Insert Stryper into the conversation. Calling on You. Which I still like the song. It's preachy because it's Stryper. I thought it was weird when Stryper decided, well, we don't have to be Christian contemporary anymore. And very quickly had to kind of retreat on that. But Calling on You was prior to that era. when they were the Yellow and Black Attack. In fact, I think Calling on You, that was the name of the album, was the Yellow and Black Attack. Then they had Blue. Went to Blue. It was weird. 1360. Why are you doing Blue, guys? That's not how it's supposed to be. Oh man, this title is so long. It's Green Day. I've always liked Green Day. They've never been in like a top 10 band for me, but it's rare for me to hear a Green Day song and say I don't like that. The American Dream is Killing Me at 1360 by Green Day. Good song. Green Day always has a good message behind their music. Their new stuff is fun too. Like I've listened to a few of the songs off their new album. I think they're good. One thing that I think is great about the bands that we see now, it does feel like the bands that were big 20 years ago when they put out an album now, they still sound really good. And sometimes in the 80s when bands from the 60s would try it, didn't necessarily hit. 1359. Richard Marx. Back to the 80s. We're not going to get very far out of the 80s in these lists. Any of the entries. So I'm going to apologize for that. But Should Have Known Better by Richard Marx. I enjoyed the video, the song. Richard Marx was one of those guys in the 80s that I was like, man, I wish I was as cool as him. I wish I looked like him. I remember the first time I saw the video for Don't Mean Nothing, I'm like, that guy just looks so cool. And then he was married to Cynthia Rhodes, who was the blonde lady in Dirty Dancing. The one that has some family trouble and Baby helps her out with it. And so I thought that was great. I was like, I wouldn't have put the two of them together. Awesome. Good for Cynthia and good for him. And at any rate, yeah, Richard Marx is still somebody that if he was in concert, and odds are to be at a local casino, I'd want to go and watch him. 1358. You know you're getting old when the bands you like are going to the casinos. And a lot of the bands I grew up listening to, they're at the casinos. It's Lady Gaga at 1358, Just Dance. A song that Jason Derulo would kind of rip off with a hit of his, which would be on the list, other than the fact that once I realized it was just a copy of that song, well, I already have Just Dance on the list, so there is a song, though, from Seether that's on my list that is an absolute ripoff of another song. I still think it's very good. There's a song from Emigrate that I think is a complete ripoff of a song that's on this list, too, but we'll get there when we get there. But Just Dance by Lady Gaga, her first hit song. 1357. Luba. She was a singer in the early mid-80s in Canada, and Let It Go was her first hit. It's fun. It's got like some reggae styles to it as well. And it's a happy song. It's a happy song with a happy video. It's a very Canadian song with a very Canadian video, meaning the production quality isn't in the same range as, say, an American video. But gosh darn it, it still tries. And Luba had a great voice. Luba's voice was fantastic. And I thought she was really good looking, too. While other people were maybe, talking about Madonna and talking about other singers, I thought Luba was beautiful, personally. 1356. Scorpions. I thought about doing a count when I'm done with all these videos, and I'm going to do a playlist. I promise I'm going to do a playlist. I just haven't had the time. But No One Like You by Scorpions, 1356. That is a good song, Scorpions, good band, and I almost forgot No One Like You. When I was finishing up this countdown, I realized there's a Scorpions song missing, and that was the one that was missing. And so I dealt with that. I got that fixed. And so it's 1356 on the board. I don't have to hate myself for missing the song. 1355. Scandal on the list again. This song, though, is before the album that I previously mentioned with The Warrior on it. Goodbye to You. And it's a great little dance song. Great little dance song. Patti Smythe is so young in that video. And it's just, it's a neat little song. It's one that I didn't really like a lot in the 80s, but I caught the video like about 5 years ago, and I was like, this is just, it's a good little bop. It's a nice, fast little song. It doesn't take too much time out of your day, and Patti Smythe had a unique dancing style that I thought was kind of fun too. 1354. Arcade Fire. I did this. I hear it and I go, man, this is really all over the place. But I have listened to Arcade Fire. Not a band I talk about, but are they Canadian? Absolutely. Year of the Snake. So 2 songs with the word snake in the title and the same 50 songs. In fact, at one point when I was doing the countdown and figuring it all out, these songs were right next to each other. And I was like, so songs about snake belong in this part of the countdown. Yep. Year of the Snake by Arcade Fire. Arcade Fire has some songs that I really do enjoy. Most of their earlier stuff is what you're going to see on this countdown, but Year of the Snake's one of the more recent ones. 1353. This one's going to throw people off. Guaranteed, this is going to throw people off because there's been nothing on this list other than maybe the Charlie XCX song that would tell you I listened to Tate McRae on any level. Greedy by Tate McRae. Tate McRae has some of the most creative videos of any of the current artists that there are. Tate McRae's also, I do believe, Canadian, so she has to get some credit for that. And Greedy's a fun song. Also, the fact that she's a big hockey fan means there's the possibility Tate McRae would know who I was by virtue of that, which would be weird. That'd be really strange. Being in an environment where Tate McRae's going, and she goes, oh, yeah, it's the hockey guy. That would be weird. But Greedy, she's on the chart. I don't think I have another Tate McRae song on the list. I don't think I do, but she's right there at 1353. 1352. Sheryl Crow. This would have been much higher on the chart, say, 20 years ago. I don't really listen to Sheryl Crow like I did then, obviously. And Leaving Las Vegas is just, it's a good song. It's a song I kind of identify with now that I haven't been in Vegas in a while, and I miss Vegas. I miss Las Vegas a lot. I would love nothing more than to step out my front door and find myself on the Vegas Strip. Be like, I'm on the Strip. This is great. You know, I could walk to CVS, then I could go over to the M&M store. Maybe I could go get a Cirque show. And so Leaving Las Vegas by Sheryl Crow. The other nice thing is Vegas changes all the time. So when you see anything where it's a video or a show that's set in Las Vegas, most of what you're looking at's gone now. 1351. Okay, so this is a long title. Let's see how I do with this. It's Honeymoon Suite. More Canadian content. I'm going to cheat and put in the number sign. Because people will know what that means. It's not a hashtag, it's a number sign. I'm old. It's not a hashtag to me. It's a number sign. Looking out for number 1. Not hashtag 1. Number 1. Honeymoon Suite. In fact, just to clear up any confusion, although if I write just the number 1, people are going to be like, hashtag 1. Yeah. So Looking Out for Number 1 by Honeymoon Suite. That's from Waking Up the Neighbors. Waking Up the Neighbors is a good album. I believe that's Waking Up the Neighbors. I have 3 of their albums, though. So I know it's one of the later albums. I know it's not. The first album's still their best. Because that does happen where first album's the best album. But Honeymoon Suite, good band, Canadian. And they've been at the casinos here. In fact, I think they've got a show coming up in the fall in either Richmond or Coquitlam at a casino. So I would consider going to that. My wife's already said she'd go if I was going to take her. So there you go. Let me know your thoughts in the comments section below as always. Hit like and subscribe in the event you may not have done so already. Thank you guys so much for all your support. It's greatly appreciated. I will talk to you again soon.